If you work in maritime, you'll know how much depends on position data being right. The problem is, GNS jamming and spoofing are no longer theoretical. They are real operational issues, and when they happen, the impact can spread quickly across navigation, fleet visibility, compliance, and decision making. I'm Evan, Client Solutions Manager here at Ground Control, and in this product showcase, I want to show you two things. First, why this problem is becoming harder to ignore, and second, how RockFLEET Assured supports different users when GNSS can't be trusted. At the simplest level, there are two main problems. Jamming means the signal is overwhelmed or lost, and spoofing means the signal is false. In both cases, the result is serious. A vessel can lose position, or worse, appear somewhere it's not. And if you're relying on that data, you can end up making decisions based on information that is just plainly wrong. A lot of current approaches still rely too heavily on GNSS, or only solve part of the problem. Multi-GNSS receivers still depend on similar, vulnerable signals. Anti-jamming and anti-spoofing tools can help, but they can still struggle when attacks become more sophisticated or combine different techniques. The issue is that GNSS signals come from medium Earth orbit, a long way away from the vessel, and by the time they arrive, they're relatively weak, which makes them vulnerable to jamming and spoofing. Iridium PNT works differently. It's delivered over Iridium's low Earth orbit constellation, with satellites much closer to Earth than GNSS. It uses burst messages, higher power transmit channels, and a frequency offset from GNSS. In practical terms, that gives you an independent position that is better suited to operating in a GNSS-denied environment. RockFLEET Assured uses Iridium PNT to provide this authenticated position, so operators have something to cross-check when GNSS starts behaving badly. So let's look at what that means in practice. If you're on the bridge, what matters is very simple. Can you tell something is wrong, and can you still act with confidence? Here, RockFLEET Assured is showing the assured position alongside GNSS position and track. Using the app, we can simulate spoofing and jamming, and you can see the effect immediately. The mismatch becomes visible, and the crew get clear alerts in their normal navigation view. That means the bridge is not left guessing whether GNSS is telling the truth. The crew has another point of reference, and that can make a big difference when decisions need to be made quickly. Now let's look at the same problem from shoreside. If you're a fleet manager or part of an operations team, the problem often shows up differently. You may see a vessel track that suddenly stops making sense, or several vessels showing abnormal movement at the same time. That's where Cloudloop Tracking comes in. RockFLEET Assured feeds trusted position reports, integrity alerts, and event logs into Cloudloop, or your preferred vessel management platform via our API, so operators can see what is happening across one vessel or an entire fleet. In this example, you can see the GNSS track going off while the trusted position picture remains usable. That gives shore teams better visibility, earlier warning, and more confidence when decisions need to be made quickly. And if your concern is compliance, insurance, or risk, the value is slightly different again. When position data is questioned, records matter. RockFLEET Assured helps create a clearer evidence trail through trusted position reporting, integrity alerts, and event logs. That can support incident review, claims handling, and operational follow-up when GNSS data is no longer reliable. When GNSS can't be trusted, RockFLEET Assured gives ship and shore teams something practical to work with. Something the bridge can act on. Something the fleet team can see. And something risk and compliance teams can refer back to later. The hardware itself is intentionally simple. A compact above-deck unit, an optional bridge view, and flexible integration into existing workflows. It's completely plug and play. But the real value is not the box itself. It's the operational output it gives to ship and shore teams when GNSS cannot be trusted. At Ground Control, we've spent 23 years helping organizations monitor, connect, and protect critical assets beyond terrestrial coverage. RockFLEET Assured builds on that experience for maritime operators who need a more resilient position source, better visibility, and more confidence when GNSS becomes unreliable. If you'd like to see how RockFLEET Assured can fit into your operation, get in touch with Ground Control. We'd love to help.